This is Detort Ideologies of Corruption and Crime, the dick everyone craves. I'm your host, Psaki, and I'm here with my co-host, Macintosh. We cover all the highlights of the week from the world around us in an attempt to expose the truths beneath the lies. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our dickheads out there. We wanted to thank you for joining us today and talking about things that are going on in the world around us. Macintosh, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing awesome, Psaki. And I hope all the dickheads out there are doing excellent as well. It's a crazy world out there, and we're going to delve into some very interesting stories today.
Today, it's been reported that the vaccinated people make up about 75% of recent COVID-19 cases in Singapore and other such places. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as we get more and more information out of different countries around the world that collect better data on this sort of thing than the U.S. does, it seems like the dreaded Delta variant can find its way around the vaccine. As you said, 75% of vaccinated people make up 75% of the recent COVID-19 cases in Singapore. About 75% of Singapore is totally vaccinated. So this would indicate that the vaccine doesn't really have any effect at preventing you from getting this Delta variant. Similar numbers out of Israel and the United Kingdom. It's not really proving to be that effective. In Israel, actually, they have some recent data suggesting that the vaccine effectivity rate, as far as preventing you from getting an infection, is only something like 35% for the Delta variant. Pretty dismal.
I feel like they've manipulated the facts to make people believe that it will make COVID disappear. And people are so terrified of COVID numbers and everything because they're not taking into the reality that it's supposed to lower your symptoms, supposedly, allegedly, supposed to lower your symptoms, make you be able to handle it better. And I just feel like they're kind of playing the statistic game with the wording and kind of making people unsure.
It's an inconvenient truth, but you can only sit on the truth so long. I think didn't Biden say recently, and Psaki also backed him up, that they've been saying for a long time this is an epidemic of the unvaccinated, which and we should put a screenshot of this for the video, that there is really no epidemic going on in the country right now. But before we get sent a bunch of hate mail because there's like one person that knows somebody that died of COVID, right? Yeah, obviously, people still die of COVID. People die from the common cold, of course. But look at the the infection rates. Look at the fatality rates. Even more importantly, in this country, and you'll see that there's really no epidemic going on at all. And the lie that this is an epidemic, the Delta variant, whatever this is, of the unvaccinated, is just that. It's made up. This whole thing about like 99.9% of COVID cases being unvaccinated, there's no basis in fact for that. I mean, the source for that number appears to be an interview with a assistant nursing professor from UCLA who looked like she was about 25 years old, citing some anecdotal evidence that 99% of the people that she had seen with hospitalized with coronavirus were unvaccinated. So,
so it's more of the stats game. Again, find a person that said something and say this is the reality.
Well, we've talked about this before on this show. It's the fear porn trying to get into people's mind. We can see, open up any major leftist news outlet now, and you will see front and center this fear porn and scapegoating, blaming the unvaccinated for this imaginary pandemic that not very many people are really dying from, this Delta variant. The infection fatality rate of the Delta variant is much, much lower than the previous alpha or beta or whatever the hell they called it. we're looking at something like 0.01%, I think, which is akin to the seasonal flu or a cold or something like that. And that is even including people that are over 70. If you're under 70, you should not worry about this, really. Obviously, don't take medical advice from us.
No,
use your own
most definitely.
judgment.
I mean,
But,
these are just our opinions on what we see going on. You should definitely talk to your doctor or anything like that. We're just seeing the numbers and questioning the propaganda out there. And we just want more information, and it seems to be hard to get, so it makes us question more.
Yeah.
I mean, if they just handed out all the info, we'd be like, okay.
Well, you can make an informed decision, but people don't really know what the infection fatality rate from COVID is. And they don't know a whole lot about the safety of the vaccines. They don't have enough information to make an informed decision about that. Important thing about engaging in a medical experiment, which is what this is right now. These vaccines are a medical experiment, informed consent. There's no informed consent here. There's propaganda, fear porn, telling you to be afraid, get the vaccine or else you're to blame for, well, anything really, the economy collapsing, racism, God knows what else, so it's a very, very strange way to, and it also makes you question, like, if this can't survive on its merits, if they're trying to scare you into doing something or bully you into doing something, why is that? What is the reason? It's
well, probably the profits. It always goes back to the money.
There's
the fact that Pfizer, I think was it Pfizer a week ago, said that they made over a couple billion in profit. And it's like, why are you announcing that? That's so tacky, because you're basically saying, hey, COVID made me a bunch of money. Look at me,
Yeah. So I mean, it's been hinted at before by skeptics around the web that there's a lot of evidence in all the strange stuff about COVID. All points to one thing: pushing vaccines. That's all it is, right? Mm-hmm. When you see everybody needs to get vaccinated, and now it's they're gonna jump on this this Delta variant, breakthrough viruses, make a case for booster shots.
Well, surprisingly, I was very surprised by this. Fauci had a meeting with Pfizer and some of his health organization people, which I don't know why Pfizer was there. Money. But
yeah, why would Pfizer be there?
No, but he actually said only people with autoimmune problems and such forth should get the booster shot. That's not necessary for everyone else, which was actually surprising because I was expecting the full money under the table deal of booster shots for everyone.
You were expecting him to do the most dishonest, shady thing that you could imagine. Which tells
you a lot about him.
Which Fauci is trying to cling to his last ounce of credibility here.
Yeah.
And he's trying desperately to appear even-handed, like he's not a shill for the vaccine industry. But when you're pushing this notion that the only way that we can escape from this disastrous virus that kills 0.01% of the people that it infects, if everybody gets a vaccine every 6 months, you're a shill for the vaccine industry. Mm-hmm. That's what you are. That's all. Most you definitely
are. Another big thing is hitting the U.S. We have the monkeypox.
I don't know what that is, but that does not sound good.
It comes from Africa.
Okay. We're off to a good start here.
Yeah. They have scary stuff. So I'm already fuck. So back in July, some guy went to Nigeria and went back to Texas.
Was this, was he recently in a famous Netflix documentary?
No, what are you talking about?
Was he one of the Tiger King?
No, shut up. The monkeypox is a rare disease caused by a virus similar to smallpox. According to the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, it was discovered in 1958 when 2 outbreaks occurred in colonies of monkeys kept for research, which is why it's called a monkeypox. It goes into other animals, though. It's not just monkeys.
I wonder if the NIH funded that too.
All right. Symptoms include fever, muscle aches, chills, exhaustion, swollen lymph nodes, and a rash that often begins on the face and spreads to the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. And it looks bad. But it is approximately over 200 people have had potentially been exposed to this disease. So they have over 200 people. And they just discovered it in Ohio. Someone contracted in Ohio. So it started in Texas and it's already in Ohio because the guy flew from Nigeria. And apparently, just...
Well, folks, fellow dickheads, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If we start doing monkeypox lockdowns, then we know the fix is in. We know the fix is in. This, I saw the original story. I haven't seen much more about monkeypox, but this might, if we start seeing this getting pushed, I think that's a good sign the fix is in, and we're heading towards a health dictatorship where we're just gonna have to, be forced to get whatever Pfizer has on offer. Otherwise, we won't be able to go to work or leave our homes or anything.
Well, there have been cases in the UK and Israel, Singapore, and the US.
Singapore.
Those are the places that have been hit so far. But
those are like, you couldn't pick like more separate places in the world if you tried.
Well, I mean.
So that must mean that monkeypox is like everywhere in between those places too. Probably, right? Probably, I mean, if you want to.
But this is the latest terrifying thing to enter our world. I'm actually a little more freaked out about this one than COVID, to be honest. Because, well, we know nothing about monkeypox. It's like smallpox, which is terrifying. And I don't know if they have any cure or anything. It's kind of terrifying, and nobody wants sores on their palms and soles.
No. So they were researching the monkeys.
No.
And accidentally created a disease.
It was, like I said before, discovered in 1958 when 2 outbreaks occurred in colonies of monkeys kept for research.
Oh, wait. It was discovered in 1958. So this has been around since 1958.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad then. If it's been around since 1958 and it hasn't.
I still don't want to catch it.
Oh, fuck no. But I mean, it's not like, whatever the coronavirus allegedly is, it's been around that long and hasn't.
Well, what do you think about the DOJ dropping the investigation of the COVID-19 deaths in New York nursing homes?
That's not surprising. Seeing as all these were Democrat-run states.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. What if something like this happened in Florida? Do you think they would drop it?
I don't think they get a book deal and get to keep the money, and I don't think it would be dropped. I'm pretty sure they would have trumped his ass.
It would be on the front page of every liberal rag in the country. They
Get
would be going for
DeSantis' social medias. They're dangerous, but
at the very least,
he's a Democrat. So
at the very least, if there's any positive out of this, we don't have to see Cuomo's stupid face anymore. That's one positive that's come out. He kind of skated by with possibly causing the deaths of some old people. Not some, thousands of old people.
Yeah.
And has benefited from the publicity that he got from pretending to be a leader. But at least we don't have to look at him anymore and hear his stupid voice. But yeah, it's not surprising, right? What were the other states that had nursing home deaths. What do you think? You know, it was
Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Democrat-run states, all.
New Jersey, they're
okay, all right, another Democrat state. Wait, why do these Democrats hate old people? What the fuck? Wait, why? Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. You know, this, I'm kind of pulling this stat on my ass, but it's probably true. Half. No. I'm not pulling. I read this somewhere. I can't cite the source from the top of my head, but you know, dickheads, you can look this up if you want. But half of the deaths from COVID-19 are in nursing homes, right? Old people. It's an old person disease. But you know, that's easy. This makes it easy, right? You know who to worry about, who not to worry about. Like 90% of people don't need to worry about this disease at all. But if you're in a nursing home, you should probably be pretty fucking worried about COVID-19, right? And that's exactly what these stupid goddamn Democrats didn't do. They just treated them like everybody else in the country, you know, maybe even less stringent, because they were putting people with coronavirus into nursing homes. It's insane. And, you know, okay, right, mistake. Did Cuomo try and kill people? No. But was he a fucking idiot and didn't pay attention or think about this and, you know, accidentally killed people? Abso-fucking-lutely. More people died in New York than any other fucking state in this country. And he can write a book about coronavirus leadership. It's a fucking joke. You know, the other shoe will drop on eventually.
Well, speaking of other shady Democrats, what do you think of this Biden art deal?
Have you seen Hunter Biden's art? We'll put some pictures up for our, you know, our viewers, but it's not
on our Instagram page.
So here's the thing. I know a little bit about art. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm kind of connected in the art world. And my sources tell me that this art is not terrible. Actually, they're even curious if Hunter Biden did it himself. But not terrible in the context of maybe selling it at like a swap meet or, you know, a coffee shop for $200-300. Selling it to anonymous Chinese for $500,000 a pop. Okay, now we're getting a little crazy.
They're supposed to be anonymous sales, but of course there was a party that he decided to go to and they just so happened we're going to be there. I mean, he's not going to know who buys it, but he is going to be at a party where they will be. Definitely not socializing and discussing deals. In no way will he be figuring out ways to get them to buy his art so this can happen. None of that is going to happen.
That's obviously a smokescreen. Hunter Biden already knows these people. This is money laundering. He got somebody to do art for him, and he is, you know, laundering money.
The art dealer does have connections, strong connections to China.
I saw that he wanted to break into China. Well, okay, right. Everybody wants to break into China. There are lots of rich people in China. No, the DICC does not.
The DICC does not.
We have very low penetration in China. Strangely enough.
DICC and CCP do not mix.
No, even though we share 4 of the same letters. The DICCP.
That will never be a part of our group.
No, we promise you that. We stand with Hong Kong, and Taiwan is a country. Don't censor us, YouTube. Demonetized.
We're out of here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what Psaki had to say when she was questioned about Biden's art sales. Hunter Biden,
you confirmed yesterday that he will be meeting with prospective buyers, but you also said that he's not going to have any conversation.
Not that he's meeting with prospective buyers, that he is attending gallery events that had been prior planned and announced.
There could be prospective buyers there.
He's not, those discussions will be happening with the gallerists, but that is different than meeting with prospective buyers.
If there are prospective buyers there, you said yesterday that he is not going to have any conversations related to the selling of art. How can the administration guarantee that?
The selling of his art will all happen through the gallerists, and the names and individuals will be kept confidential. We will not be aware, neither will he be aware.
Is there anything stopping anyone from directly telling, though, Hunter Biden that they're going to purchase his art? And if they do, the American people won't know who they are.
He will not know. We will not know who purchases his art. Go ahead.
You got to feel for
Hi,
her.
Jeff.
Huh?
Well, at a certain level, I don't feel
No,
sorry.
I don't-
It's her job,
I don't
right?
feel
The
for
orange enforcer. But some things. Can you imagine, like when she was getting prepped to answer these questions, she was probably like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" They're
What
like,
is he gonna fucking
like, wait, who do you think Hunter Biden doesn't have enough money that he can just lounge around, fuck his dead brother's wife, and whatever Chinese hookers he can pick up and smoke crack forever, just not bother anybody? He can do that forever. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, but he has to grift. These people are grifters. Ask anybody that knows the Bidens from Delaware back in the day. They are dirty criminal grifters. And everybody in the fucking family, they're scumbags. They can't stop. And he can't stop this, this cheating. And how much do you think Biden, the big man, whatever the hell they call him, the big guy, was that his nickname? He's probably above this at this point, whether or not he knows what the hell is going on at all anyway. But this is such blatant money laundering. He already knows who these people are that are going to give him money, right? They're all the Chinese and Ukrainians that they were doing business deals with before Biden was nominated. They already know each other.
Mhm.
It's just, money under the table.
I mean, Biden has a lot of friends he's making with deals, but I feel like one of them he's not making friends with deals that we should worry about is Putin currently.
Vladimir Putin. Actually, they greenlighted the Nord Stream pipeline. They renewed the START treaty, which Trump did not want to do unless they got something for it. So there is, there's bluster on one hand, but then there's the quad. There's no reason not to allow Nord Stream to happen or renew the START treaty, but there are some other interesting things going on.
Well, for instance, the Russian Navy can now detect any enemy and launch an unpreventable strike if needed. President Putin said on Sunday, weeks after a UK warship angered Moscow by passing the Crimea Peninsula.
Yeah. This was interestingly enough, Britain has not really been one for rattling the saber in recent years, but they've done some very provocative things recently. They sailed a carrier strike group, their shiny new aircraft carrier, with a flotilla of other native vessels. But this was British led, which is notable, into the South China Sea, pissing China off, just sailing close to these islands that China thinks are theirs, but aren't really theirs. And also, they sailed this one of their destroyers very, very close to Crimean waters, actually in Crimean waters, I think. And allegedly, so the Russians have one story, the British have another. But the way the Russians tell it, the British got too close. They fired some cannons at them. Warning shots, and then they dropped bombs in their path. The British say that this was a pre-planned gunnery exercise. It didn't happen. Observers on the ship said that, didn't seem planned. But
People
anyway,
were fucking terrified.
Well, you're getting shot at. The fact remains, right? Okay, Crimea is like a hornet's nest. This is one of Russia's most strategic locations. It's why they moved so quickly to annex it after Ukraine flipped. They need Crimea. It's very, very strategically important, and they are armed to the teeth. And a destroyer against land-based firepower, it just that doesn't stack up. Ships are extremely vulnerable to land-based countermeasures. You just fire a shit ton of missiles at them, and they can't do much. I think this is one of the things that if we ever do have another major war, we'll find out that surface navies are very, very exposed. That you can just missile technology is just too much, and you can fire shit tons of missiles. They have countermeasures, of course, but the Russians have like hypersonic dive missiles. They have supercavitating torpedoes. Yeah, it is one destroyer.
What about that fighter jet?
The new Russian fighter jet. Yeah, that's another cool thing. It's very racy looking. It's a good looking airplane. I like the design philosophy too. So it's a slick looking airplane, and it follows the design philosophy that is the same as the F-16 basically, and everybody loves the F-16, right?
I love the F-16.
Yeah, but the U.S. government didn't want to buy the F-16. Lockheed had to, or Northrop, whoever the fuck made the F-16, they had to sell it. They designed the airplane and then had to make the case for selling it. But big governments don't usually like to, at least the U.S. doesn't like to invest in these cheap, easy to produce fighters. And this is General Dynamics. Thank you. Well, actually, so it's owned by General Dynamics now, but that when it was designed, it was something else. But it's not important. But I like the design philosophy. So they say that it's going to cost $25 million. Okay, which for some context, the F-35, which this has been portrayed in media as being a competitor to, because it kind of looks like the F-35. It's not like the F-35. But the $25 million to, let's say, like $90 million for a base model F-35. I think it's about the latest price. But that's the A version. The B and the C versions are like $120 million. So we're talking about an aircraft that's like a fifth the price, potentially, of some of the F-35 variants, and has not all the capabilities, but it's a fifth of the price. So the export market, it's a huge case for that. We're trying to make an export market for the F-35, but after you get past countries like Britain, Canada, Australia, who are you going to sell it to? Something like this, you could buy 5 more of these than an F-35. Countries like South Korea, Taiwan, like that want to buy the F-35, it's so expensive they can buy like 24 of them. You can lose 24 fighters on the first day of a war. You could buy 100 of this type of fighter. I think it's good. And actually the mock-up, it was a mock-up. It wasn't actually a real plane that they debuted at the show. But the mock-up looks very close to an actual flying airplane. It looks legit, right? So you see some mock-ups, like the latest mock-up from the FCAS from France and Germany, and the Tyrannus, the British fighter, even the South Korean fighter, which looked pretty decent, but these don't look very close to being an actual fighter. This looks like they say they're going to fly it in like 2 years and start selling it in like 6-7 years. I actually believe them, because this looks pretty close to production. It looks like it's gone through the final design phase, and now they're just kind of manufacturing stuff and doing flight. Maybe, I don't know. It looks like it's pretty far along, and it looks like a legit fighter plane. And I like the idea. It's got a big single engine, a big engine. It's kind of like the old Crusaders or an F-16 or a Starfighter, which are great airplanes, amazing U.S. airplanes that all had to fight against the U.S. government procurement bureaucracy, because they love expensive, complicated shit, but they're excellent fighters. And we know the Russians have a great pedigree in designing fighters. So this, looks like another MiG-29. It's cool. I like it. We should design one.
I'll get right on that. So we'd like to thank all our dickheads for coming out and chit-chatting with us, hanging out, listening to our rantings and other such things. We wish you guys a great week, and thank you for joining us.
All right, everybody. Yeah, take it easy. No other members of the DP family today, but shout out to everybody in the Dirty Pilgrims organization, and we will talk to you all soon.